Hi, I'm Katie. I'm a physiotherapist at the Queen Elizabeth Foundation, a neuro rehab service based in Leatherhead.
Hi, and I'm Rihanna. I'm one of the assistant psychologists here working in our multidisciplinary team alongside Katie.
So today we wanted to talk a little bit about our experience of what has been a very difficult year for all of us. Some of the challenges we have faced will be unique to us, and some of the solutions we come up with might also be unique to us. But so much of this is a shared experience. So we wanted to reflect on how we've navigated it, what we've learned, how we've adapted, and also just take this opportunity to acknowledge collectively that we're doing a really good job in spite of everything. So just to give you a quick overview, we're going to talk about who we are and what we do first, and then explain some of the challenges that we've faced during COVID, and then go into a bit more detail about our solutions and the outcomes and longer term potential.
So as Katie mentioned, just to start with, we wanted to tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do. QEF has been providing expert neuro rehabilitation for over 30 years now. We support people to maximise their independence following an acquired brain injury, stroke, other neurological condition, or incomplete spinal injury. As a team, our focus is always on providing holistic, person-centred programmes of therapy and nursing care. And we work really closely with the NHS, case managers, and community referrers. Our in-house expertise includes nursing, physiotherapy, speech and language therapy, occupational therapy, and clinical psychology. And we are also supported by a consultant in neuro-rehabilitation medicine and a GP service. Recently, we were excited and very lucky to move to a brand new purpose-built building.
So this is our new care and rehabilitation centre based near Leatherhead in Surrey. We've expanded from our previous location. Now we have 48 beds, and we feel very lucky to have some really lovely spacious facilities, including individual ensuite bedrooms for every client with accessible technology, plus well-equipped therapy rooms. So our service offers 5 pathways, and these include long-term care, slower stream rehab over longer timeframes, or more intense programs of varying length. And this means that we can be flexible in meeting our clients' needs, as well as the requirements of commissioners.
So that was a bit about our service and what we do day to day. Now we want to talk in more detail about the past year and a topic that's impossible to get away from at the moment, the COVID-19 pandemic, and the impact this has had on our clients, their families or support networks, and our team as a whole, as well as how we've tried as a team to respond to that challenge.
So the COVID pandemic has created huge challenges for all of us in our personal and working lives. Working within healthcare has brought its own unique set of challenges that we've all had to navigate as best we can. So we just wanted to summarise some of the challenges we've experienced in our service, and in particular the impact to our clients. But we realised that while some of this may resonate and be very familiar, there will also be many challenges for different types of services that we may not have experienced. Here at QEF, we work under the regulations of a care home with a 2-week period of isolation for new clients and very strict visiting rules for families. But at the core of our service is our client, and a key challenge for them and their families has been this necessity to have reduced contact. Similarly, we as staff have also needed to reduce face-to-face contact where possible, meaning that some staff have had to step back at times from client contact, while others can only treat with PPE, which in itself impacts on our interactions. So this harsh reality is at odds with the ethos of our team and our service.
So the question that we as a team were asking ourselves was, how can we continue to offer a person-centred, holistic service for our clients while also trying to manage the risks brought by COVID-19 as best we could? The solution we came up with was a new programme which aimed to support and educate clients while also trying to keep their families involved in the rehab experience as much as possible. And this was a way of supporting their longer term adjustment and rehabilitation beyond just their time with us at QEF. There are essentially 3 core strands to this programme. The first was about trying to act as our clients' extended support networks. This is something we've always tried to do as a client-centred service, but something which we think became even more important at the start of the pandemic, because clients were restricted from seeing their immediate support networks and still are now. And these support networks usually play a really key role while our clients here at the service, supporting them both practically and emotionally as they adjust to a new way of life. This meant we had to make an even bigger effort to get to know our clients on a very, very personal level outside of formal therapy sessions, so that we could learn how best to support and motivate them and ultimately be there for them when their families weren't able to be. In particular, for those with communication and cognitive difficulties, families are such an important voice, as they can really help us understand more about the client and who they are, beyond just their kind of diagnosis and what we know about them from a rehab perspective. This meant we spent a lot of time trying to build strong rapport with family and friends virtually or from a distance, to find out more about our clients' interests, hobbies, and the best ways that we could motivate them and support them as a team.
So that leads me to the second strand of this programme, which was technology. I'm sure you've had the same experience, that we had to get familiar with technology. And in particular, what we've used a lot is video. So in particular, video calls. So this allowed clients to connect with families, particularly for those who had difficulty with communication. It allowed them to see each other, which gave insight as well into how that person was doing. And these video calls also meant that families could come into therapy sessions and kind of witness and support and encourage clients on their journey. We could use video calls to carry out virtual home visits and assess their houses and plan for the future. And finally, we've also used videos and taken recordings to help provide families with insight and education, as well as the clients, in order to ease the transition home and help prepare families and clients for what to expect, because that transition has been a very big challenge for clients and families during COVID.
And the final element, which was perhaps the newest or most unique for us as a service, was the creation of a brand new library of educational and informative content, which we could give to clients when we were unable to deliver face-to-face sessions. We use this content to help tell clients more about their diagnosis, what difficulties they may be facing, as well as providing very practical tips to empower them to feel more in control of their rehab. Because it was so practical and tips and advice led, it's something which became known internally as the Tip Cards Project. So the Tip Cards Project was initially devised as we tried to work out a way of reducing face-to-face contact in order to minimise risk, while also considering how we could continue to help clients and their families adjust from both an emotional and practical point of view. Essentially what we did is we took some of what we would normally do in face-to-face sessions, but couldn't do because of the pandemic, and created content which educated clients. So you'll see there's some nice examples here on the screen, but it was very practical things, so things that they could do to help themselves. So whether it's strategies for helping memory problems when they're back at home, or some relaxation techniques to use at times when they were feeling particularly worried or overwhelmed. We quickly saw the potential of this project as something which would help to enhance the way we work as an MDT, allowing us to bring all the information we are giving to clients in our individual therapy sessions into one core holistic pack, and thereby creating a more personalised rehab experience for each client. I think one of the great things about this project is that we have tried to do as much of the hard work up front as possible, and develop a tip card for every possible need, difficulty or challenge we might see a client here facing. This means that we now have all the resources ready to go, and can cherry pick what we need for each individual client. We have a discussion about the best tip card to give to clients, and then once we have the pack together, we add a front sheet which is tailored to that particular client and therefore makes it feel very unique to them. And this is great because we don't have the added workload of having to reinvent the wheel each time. The project also had the added benefit of being something which staff who were shielding or having to work from home during the pandemic could lead on to give them purpose in their roles and allow them to continue contributing to clients' rehab experience in a really, really valuable way, despite not being here on the front line.
Of course, this isn't a completely unique concept. We all use things like care plans and information leaflets to support our clients. But these tip cards allow the whole MDT to pick out what's relevant to a client, and they go into a really detailed level, which we can then compile into something very personal as their own bespoke pack. And we can tailor this as well to suit clients on all of our different pathways. Plus, the tip cards now have so many further applications. Some clients receive them and work through them alone as education, while for others, they are useful aids within one-to-one sessions. They are also really beneficial for families to receive education on what their loved one is experiencing and what to expect when they come home. And this pack of information follows them home, easing anxiety, aiding memory, and supporting their transition. So now all the hard work has been done, the process is not time-consuming, but the result is highly personalised. But also I want to add that as part of this process and education, we also signpost to other really valuable resources such as Headway and the Stroke Association.
One of the reasons we're so pleased with this project is that we believe it has longevity beyond just the pandemic and is a positive change that we've been able to integrate into our service during what has been a really difficult and testing time for everyone. So what's next? As Katie mentioned, every client is now getting their very own personalised pack at discharge, but we're also continuing to develop the project and library of resources as and when required. For example, as we learn more about different clients and their specific needs, we have a project team who can create additional resources. We're also trying to create a continual feedback loop so we can gather feedback from clients and their families to allow us to improve and expand the library of tip cards so that they are as useful as possible for the people actually using them. And finally, while to date we've predominantly been using them in our therapy sessions or at discharge, we're now seeing a really good need for them outside of formal therapy sessions to give to our support staff as therapeutic resources that they can use to support clients too.
So to summarise, COVID has forced us to find solutions to maintain our client-centred service. And as a result, we feel we have achieved what we hoped to. Our programme allows us to educate and inform our clients to support their long-term recovery, while also minimising the risks from COVID-19 where possible. It's allowed us to keep families involved in the rehab experience and support their adjustment from both a practical and emotional perspective to enable them to better support their loved one. And it's given staff purpose and allowed us to support our clients as well as possible in the midst of a global pandemic. So ultimately, we do think that we are managing to maintain our person-centred and holistic service. So that's it. And I think there's a little bit of time now to ask some questions if you want to. We hope it's been helpful to hear about a positive that has come out of this for our service at this difficult time. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.